Welcome back to another episode of the Adzvice podcast. On this week, what are we talking about, Bonita?
This week, we get into some of the timeline drama that's been happening and give our thoughts on that. Well, most importantly, we have such a good conversation with Ms Joyce K, Instagram influencer, foodie, private chef, all of the food things. She's amazing. But we wanted to talk to her about her journey, how she became a private chef, how she managed to what seems like blow overnight, and then what tips she could give you guys for getting into the industry or just growing your platform if you're interested in doing that during this pandemic.
Yeah, so guys, go through her recipes, make yourself a meal, grab a drink, and enjoy this episode of the Adzvice podcast. Let's get right into it.
They call you the millennials.
The burnout generation.
Millennials have it too easy.
The stress caused by anxiety, work ethic, and even childhood.
Millennials.
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 Blame it on the millennials.
You are now listening to the Adzvice podcast with Ade and Bonita.
Welcome back, Bon. Another episode.
Another episode.
How you doing?
I'm alright. I'm good actually. I can barely walk, but it's fine.
Yeah, you're. How many weeks along are you now?
By the time this goes out, I'm 37, so I'm full term, considered full term. So basically,
What? How long is a term?
full term is like 9 months.
So as in you're 9 months.
Basically, yeah, I'm 9 months.
So
So
right now, speaking to me, you could just pop.
yeah. So and basically, they say pregnant women can go up to 40, maybe 41, 42 weeks. But anywhere between 37 weeks onwards, basically. You can have your baby. So I'm basically due, and I think any minute. My sister says I've got 2 weeks. She thinks. I had a scan yesterday, and he's weighing a healthy 6 pounds. So, yeah.
Yeah, you said 7 pounds,
Yeah, I'm hoping 7 pounds.
and I said more.
Yeah, and then my sister said, was like, oh, you better mind you don't have a 10-pound baby. I was like, you need to shut your mouth.
I for some reason I can see 9, but if you're saying
No, 8 max.
All right, let's see.
I'm not trying to be traumatized after this birth.
Speaking of traumatized, the timeline, Bonita. Twitter. What is
Do you know
going
what?
on in Twitter?
I've not even thought about it until now, until you just mentioned it. But bruh, I hate Twitter so much. Literally hate it. It's mad because me and my husband don't discuss timeline drama, but this week we've just
Can't
been
avoid it, can you?
talking about everything that's been happening. But
And
it's actually
for
so
those
mad.
who aren't on Twitter or who don't know what we're talking about, what are we even discussing right now?
So basically, the whole this comes about every year. I feel like people start looking at people's old tweets, start searching for their old tweets, and then obviously people keep getting called out about some of the derogatory comments and colorist comments that they've made in the past. And with this, I don't even know how this started. I just know
I don't know how it started either.
I don't know where it came from. But I know
Someone drew out someone, and then it just literally went into an all-out witch hunt, and then everyone started getting drawn out. We're talking your favorite YouTuber to the guy who tweets memes. Everyone got drawn
every
out.
single person. It's like everyone knew then how to search for people's old tweets, and then it just became a massive draw out. But I know obviously Nella Rose and Only Bells were the 2 YouTubers that I obviously saw being drawn out and being cancelled or whatever. I think Nella Rose got it a lot worse.
Nah,
than
she's the only one that I would say no one got it on her level. And considering she was the young, I'm not here to make excuses for anyone because that's not my business at all. I'm not taking power seat from someone else's headache. But considering she was 13, 15 at the time versus some of these people who were tweeting 3 years ago.
Oh, I know where it started from.
Okay, how did it start?
So basically, this is so hilarious. Basically, it started from there's not a famous one, a Twitter couple. One of them's Eat with Ali. She makes cakes or whatever. The other one,
the cake that you said that you would never be ordering again.
Yeah. No, I have no shame in saying that I will not order from her ever again.
Why is that? What was your experience like?
for me personally, her service was shit. I overpaid her by accident, but she never noted it, and I had to go back to her and say, "Oh, I've overpaid you. Like, can you just quickly confirm my order so I know?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't even check." She's like, "I didn't even check." I was like, "You're not gonna check how much money I sent you, but okay, go off." So that was one thing. And then when I did eventually get the cake, it was for my sister-in-law's 18th. So when I eventually got the cake, it was not decorated to the standard that I expected.
That you've seen online as well.
Literally not. It was shit. And it was annoying because I just bought that's my sister-in-law's 18th birthday cake that this is my contribution to her. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, she didn't come correct at all. And then I didn't bother complaining or anything like that. I just couldn't be bothered. I just didn't complain. I just said, you know what, cool, I will not be using you again. So when I did ask for another cake maker and people were recommending, I was like, don't send me her because I won't use her. Anyway, this is before I even knew about all the colorist stuff and what her fiance had said or whatever. But it stemmed from people drawing up. I think he tweeted something recently that was problematic, and then people started going into
Against
his old
black
tweets.
women.
Yeah, and that's
his girlfriend or wife, whatever it is Albanian.
Yeah,
okay.
But obviously, it's the fact that he's constantly tweeting stuff about black women, and your fiance's white. It just, you know what I mean? Like,
tweeting stuff about black women about what? Like negatively?
Yeah, negatively. Like like how all his tweets were like. I don't know what he said recently because it had been deleted, but what he was saying back in the day was obviously, loads of dog stuff about dark-skinned women and just black women generally or whatever. And those are the tweets that were brought up. And then he tried to like be like, oh, all of my old tweets, it's not a true reflection of who I am as a man today, and blah blah blah. And then people were like, but just the other day you were tweeting Rex, so what's really the truth?
And then
but
from
that's
it
kicked off. And then I think you can't have your 2 pence on those things because people would then come for you and be like, well, actually, you said this, and start drawing up for you.
So that was happening. So people were getting into him, and then they were getting drawn up.
That's what was happening, and yeah. And then I saw so many people bring up so many people's old tweets, and like not all of them got the attention.
So let's keep it a buck. Like the women got it a lot worse than the men got it.
Of course, but
from other women.
And for me personally, I just think there's a bigger conversation to be had when black women are coming for black women. This is not a light-skinned, dark-skinned issue. This is a black woman. Nella Rose is not light. She's not light-skinned. She's a dark-skinned black woman, and she's tweeting about black women. So there's a deeper conversation to be had around why. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's different when it's Maya Jama tweeting about dark-skinned women because then it's a colorist issue. But when you've got a dark-skinned woman tweeting about how much she hates her own kind, basically her own skin color, there's a deeper conversation to be had. And for me, I didn't even want to get involved. I didn't want to get involved because it comes like on Twitter, you can't grow, you can't change, you can't. Do you know what I mean? Everything you've done from then up until this point is erased. Like, I saw people even trying to go into Kelechi, and I was thinking, are you dumb? Like all of the stuff that these women, Nella, Kelechi, I don't know about the Only Bells girl, but them two specifically, the stuff that they've done for black women in their industries, on the internet, is just like, cannot be questioned. Do you understand? So again, I'm not defending like what was said before, but when you have black women discriminate against themselves, there's a deeper conversation that needs to be had there.
I agree with you. It's a tough one, and like I deliberately didn't get involved too tough just because I found the whole time very weird. And what I found even more weird is there were other people who were proactively digging up positive tweets that they've said in the past, and I'm like, who does this? Like, look at me. Back in 2012, I said black women are great. It's like the fact we're commending people for talking positively about. Is that how low the bar has stooped that we're now getting compliments for saying black women are amazing?
This is it. And I just think people on the timeline, they like to put themselves on pedestals, and they like to be, oh, I'm so great, look, I've never done anything wrong on the timeline before. But bruv, like, what about in real life, like, or whatever?
Completely.
Don't like, I just didn't rate it at all.
It's crazy because like it started off with like the complexion stuff, and that for sure is definitely a conversation to have. And I think
100%.
we've missed an opportunity to have that conversation with Only Girls. Like I follow her. I followed her, not actively, but it's someone that I followed. But when her tweets got dragged up, it was about what you say you unfollowed her. Oh, what was
I unfollowed her because her apology was a load of shit.
Fair
That's
enough.
why I unfollowed her, and she made it worse. So I was just like, you know what? I didn't even see her tweets originally. I only saw her apology.
It was trending, so it was easy for me to find. She was basically she made a lot of jokes about rape. Like at one point there was a trend that I'm happy that I missed. There was a trend of people like really casually joking about rape, like saying, "Oh yeah, you should like I'd rape you if I was like I'd rape you or you
What?
should." Yeah, like a lot. I don't have it. I'm just doing it by verbatim at the moment. Like I don't have word for word, but it was a lot of making light of rape, and she made comments towards black women, which I found interesting because like as long as I've been following her, I would have thought that you would have classed herself as a black woman, but clearly it shows that she's from Burundi, so she's East African. Burundi.
Yeah, she's East African. So, but in her apology, like I said, I didn't see her actual tweets, but I saw her apology, and I was just like, she basically was saying, "Oh, people think I'm Somali. I've got Somali."
I saw the apology was jazz. The apology was like, I diss black women because people thought I look Somali and I used to get dissed. So I didn't understand the apology.
I didn't get it, and I feel a bit harsh for unfollowing her, but I'm not saying people can't.
No, I don't think you should. For me, it was something that I was thinking about, but at the end of the day, I didn't, only because I don't know. I've never followed any of these people based on whatever I followed them wasn't to do with. I don't know. I can't even tell you why I followed. I followed them from such a time ago, and it's like I'm now not going to go out of my way to unfollow you, but now obviously everything someone does who happens is it can look different in the light. Like now that this has been brought to my attention, I'm going to interact differently. There were guys who have big platforms who they some of the stuff they were saying in the past about colorist remarks, like it was a lot and it was interesting because for me I saw that a lot of people allow jealousy to direct their motives, because when it was someone that you liked from the opposite sex, I saw a lot of people rushing to their defense and saying like, oh no, can't people change, blah blah blah. Whereas it seemed like a lot of women who had been literally hailing up Nella Rose couldn't wait for the opportunity to pass to drag her down.
And this is why I hate Twitter, because people stay following you, and they stay following you not because they genuinely care or they genuinely like you, but because they can't wait for the day when they can drag you for shit you've done in the past. Like there are people that stay like that, and that's why I just can't. I find Twitter's such a fickle place. Like that's why I don't fuck with it at all, man. I don't fuck with people in there.
When these situations happen, it's kind of a blessing for us in a way. Or I say for me anyway, because it's like it's a really quick reminder that it's not life. Like, you know what I mean? There's a whole if some people get really carried away and get really secure with the timeline and forget that, you're putting your opinion out to the internet for anyone to dissect, anyone to respond to, anyone to get offended. And also, I'm not being funny, but how stupid are some of these people that it's worrying, because for some of the stuff that you said, for you not to delete it, it's either it was so common and casual that you forgot about it, or you don't even feel the need to go back and delete it. Because how many times has people been drawn out and you've had all these tweets and you haven't gone back and deleted them?
That's it. That's the thing. And it's like, the thing is as well, it's like a lot of people have been on, like I've been on Twitter since 2014. I've been on Twitter since 2014, 6 years I've been on Twitter. And obviously that I was like, I don't know, 18, 19 then times. But there's people that have been on this earlier than that. And they probably don't.
I was on from 2011.
Swear down.
But I never used it like how people use it. It wasn't my diary.
Oh, that's a lie. I joined April 2010.
See?
I've been on Twitter for 10 years.
See?
So yeah, it's mad. But it's like people probably don't even go back and think. But when things like this happen, I think now's the time, because it just takes for one person to say something or for you to rub someone up the wrong way, and then the timeline cancels you or whatever. But it's just like I feel sorry for Nella, because she got it the worst, and I don't think her case was necessarily the worst thing in the world. Do you know what I mean? And I just think people will just come in for her because she's a black woman anyway, which again, just a whole nother conversation. But I know people were like talking about her mom who passed away and all of this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, it was unnecessary, but it dies down after a week anyway. So I think people should stop talking about it soon.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just literally going through. It's funny. I just saw a tweet that I've made in 2013. Twitter rate SMS shake my head. So maybe there was something going on at that time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
The other stuff I'm talking about, I was just again, I literally just thinking, you know what? Since everyone's doing, let me just search myself. And the only stuff I've got is stuff when I was talking about dolphins, dolphin rape. It's just not funny, and me commenting on Twitter rape. But yeah, it's a very weird place. But what is good is during all this animosity, negativity, I feel like a group of people who need to be held as and regarded as key/essential workers are these foodie bloggers, Instagrammers, TikTokers. They've been holding us down for years, but now their place has been cemented as literally
100%.
gold. Let's protect them at all costs. And I think you'd have to be foolish to say that out of all of these people, the one that hasn't like been doing an amazing job and really keeping the timeline stuffed visually is Ms Joyce K on Instagram, with all of her popular recreations of like everything from the McDonald's breakfast McMuffin to Wagamama's Vapiano's.
Cafe East is my favorite one.
Cafe East, you've been there. What was the steak one that I can't wait to recreate? Flatiron, so many. And we've actually got a conversation with her coming up, which was really good.
Yeah, definitely. I think some insightful stuff. And this is the first podcast she's been on, so that was good. Yes,
we are the first to have her on a podcast, which we're very excited about. Unfortunately, there was a few technical difficulties towards the end of the podcast where we lost a bit of audio, but we've got a nice recap for you of what you've missed. And we're looking forward to kind of getting into that conversation. So
enjoy.
So you just jump right into it.
This is actually my first podcast.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. So this is a bit like, what do I say?
Yeah, honestly, we're just going to start now. Thank you so much for joining us, Joyce. You've definitely been lighting up the timeline of recent.
Thank you.
Especially in this time where there's a lot of negativity on the timeline. It's good to see some positive.
I haven't even been scrolling through it anymore because I just feel like I'm not trying to see that at the moment. So
no, you have no need. You just continue throwing down and giving us some wholesome, healthy, tasty content. Definitely appreciated. But I guess before we even get into it, it'd be good just to understand like who are you? Who is Joyce K, the woman behind all these great meals we're seeing on the gram?
So yeah, I'm Joyce, but obviously on my Instagram I'm known as Ms Joyce K, Chef Joyce K, whatever. But yeah, my name is Joyce. I'm a chef. I've been a chef for just over 2 years. I kind of got into working as a chef like in an unconventional way because my story's kind of long, but I can just kind of summarize it.
No, go for it.
I went to uni, I studied business. After that, I was kind of working like randomly like in admin jobs and stuff like that. I didn't actually have like a proper sturdy job, like I worked in admin and stuff. And in 2015, I decided to go back to Congo. So I'm actually originally from Congo. So I decided to go to Congo, not go back, I can actually say go for the first time because I'd never been before. So I decided to go alone and just to kind of see what it was like for 3 months in like a work experience kind of thing.
But I got there, you speak the local language, right? You speak French and you speak...
Yeah, I speak French and Lingala, but like not even great. Like I literally had to learn more whilst I was there and I really did. So I ended up going for, I was meant to go for 3 months. I ended up being there for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And whilst I was out there, it was crazy. But one thing I loved about it was like the hustle, like it's all about hustling out in Africa. Like everyone's literally just hustling and working and stuff. So for me, I was there meant to be working that kind of placement, but when I got there, the placement didn't even go through. So I ended up having to find another job, which was like in an agriculture company. So I worked there, like doing marketing and admin and all that kind of stuff in that company for like a year. But at the same time, I was also doing makeup. So random, like on the side, because I had good makeup skills and like I could see that it was a demand there. So I just kind of thought, you know what, let me make some money. And I started doing that on the side. And in the second year of me being there, I worked in a school as a teacher. So I told you my story is so random.
Oh my
But I worked
gosh.
in a private French school, teaching English. So this was like teaching English to like American kids ambassadors, to the president's family, like really high class people, because obviously it's one of the most expensive schools out there because it was a private French school. The way I even got the job was so random, but like I said, I literally go through the random things. So I was there for a year, but I had to now come back, even though I loved it so much, just because the country was really unstable. But before I came back, so I can say within that year, I started like a barbecue event, because I wanted to
in
I
the
thought
Congo.
in Congo,
Okay.
yeah, which was a really big success, because what I was trying to do was kind of incorporate food from around the world, but in Congo. And I don't know if it's for other African countries as well, and I would say a little bit, because I did kind of get to travel in other African countries as well whilst I was out there as well. And I noticed that like you don't really get a mix whilst you're out there, like what we have here, where you can like have like, okay, I want Jamaican today, I want Mexican, I got this, but they're not so much. Like you might have like where the country is colonized from, their food. So like Congo is colonized by the Belgians, so you have like a lot of Belgian kind of food. And like obviously nowadays you have like expats going back and like building like Chinese restaurants and this and that, whatever. But like in terms of other African and black things, I didn't see that. So I really wanted to do that event. So I started doing the food event there. And that was really good. But like I said, just the logistics of being in Africa, like business is a bit hard anyway. And yeah, it's just a bit weird. So anyway, I was there for that happened for about 3-4 months. I was doing that business. And when I came back to London, I had to come back just because of the political environment. So the country was really, really unstable. Yeah, it was really unstable. And I just felt really unsafe at the time. So I really had to leave. And I was living by myself as a woman and everything. I was like, yeah, this is a bit crazy. Let me just come back to London. I ended up coming back to London. Obviously, I didn't have a job, but I had a lot of savings because how I was getting paid was really good and everything was just really well. So I came back and I didn't really feel like I needed a job straight away. But I just didn't want to be at home. So me and my friend decided to do like a food business in Essex. So like in Romford, but I live in West London. So firstly, it was really hard for me because I live in like Acton. Going to Romford was this long every day. And with the traffic, driving down the A406 and all this stuff, it was just like, yeah, a madness basically. But yeah, so we started doing that and it kind of worked, I can say, but not really, because I felt like it was just too typical of like your standard, well, I don't want to say typical because it works for some people, but just it didn't work for us basically, like that whole working from home and then, you know, just doing all this stuff. Like I just felt like, yeah, this is not for me. So I would say that fizzled out pretty quickly. I went back to work, like in, like I said, back in admin and stuff. But then when I did that, I just realized I was like, I am not trying to be here. Like this is not for me. I really hated it. So when I was at work, like I would spend the majority of my time on the computer researching what I could do and how I can kind of come out of this. Because at this point, I think I realized that my passion was actually food. I was like, yeah, I know I didn't study this, or it's not something that I went through in the beginning, but I need to get back to this kind of thing.
What age are you now when you're starting to think, food, like?
So 24.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so 24. So the whole food thing, the business that I had was from 23.
Okay.
But even when I was doing it there, I was kind of running it more. I wasn't really in the kitchen like that. I was actually just running the whole event and running the setup. So I was really importing a lot of things from London. So a lot of the foods that we would have at the event was imported from London, like obviously like jerk sauces, this and that, because you can't get that in Congo. So I was importing them, bringing it to the event. And yeah, so that's what I was doing, more the logistics than the actual cooking. But I've always loved food. Like, anyway, I'll get back to that. Back to the job thing. So like I started, the first thing I did with my company that I have right now is called Beloko. In 2018, so now 2020, yeah, 2018, at work, I kept looking at stuff. I was like, I need to do something else. One thing I researched, I was like, why don't I do a pop-up? Because I realized that the whole takeaway business was not for me. So why don't I do like an outdoor pop-up? And that's when I did my first pop-up in Old Street. So in Old Street Station, I had a pop-up. So I literally invested a lot of money in doing that, like having to pay for obviously the area that I was in and pay for all the stuff that I needed and stuff. And that was so good. Like it was such a big success. And I realized that, okay, cool, there's a demand for what I'm doing. And what it was that I'm doing is that I was mixing like, basically, when you look at Beloko's page, it's always talks about Pan-African food, which is basically a blend of just black food. Like it can be African, it can be Caribbean, it can be from any place that obviously comes from the black origin kind of thing, and putting it together. And I think that's something that you don't get often, where you can get everything under one, you know, under one and the one place I can say. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so then that obviously Beloco started. I started doing supper clubs like a year later because I was doing pop-ups and stuff. And I realized that pop-ups were good, but like my passion is really like plating and creativity as well as not just cooking, like in, because obviously when you do pop-ups it's still kind of very casual, but I really wanted to really show different things. I was like, you know what, let me let's look into like doing like a brunch or something else. But I thought, you know what, I'm seeing a lot of brunches, why don't I do a supper club? And that's when I started doing supper clubs.
For those who don't know, like, what is a supper club?
So a supper club is basically a dinner party. I can say like a dinner party, and it's quite intimate, I would say. It's intimate. It's where really a chef gets to showcase their food, like in a way, it just presents it. It obviously depends on the type of supper club, but my particular supper club that's what it is an event and an experience as well. So you come there and you experience like a 4-course meal, and yeah, so that's what it is really, but just a dinner instead of like a lunchtime event, like a brunch, basically. And so at this point, I've kind of missed out the key part, which is like I was doing a lot of cooking for my Instagram actually at the time as well, like randomly always posting up stuff. And I have a friend who works like in I don't want to name the restaurant, but like quite one of the top modern British restaurants. So he kept seeing my work and he was like to me, I really want you to come and work with us. And I was like, mate, I've never worked in the kitchen before, but I didn't even have a job at the time. So I was thinking, you know what, maybe this is actually a good opportunity for me to do this and to learn. So I was really keen on it. So I went and worked there. And when I tell you, sometimes I actually felt like I was in Hell's Kitchen, because working in a kitchen is like a completely different environment from any environment I've ever worked in. Like the mentality, the way people think, the way everything is just different. Like you just feel like you're entering a different world. And it was very hard because even at work, people could really see that I was really good at my cooking, because but I just didn't have the skill. I didn't have like the skill for certain things. I didn't have the techniques that they learn from, you know, like from scratch kind of thing. So it was hard for me, but I learned so much being there. So I was like, I started working in restaurants for like, I could say about a year, and maybe less than a year actually. No, definitely less than a year, like 8 months I can say in total. But like just working in restaurants really taught me so much in such a short period of time, because I was just motivated to learn. I was there like with a notepad and pen, like, and by the time I left, people were just like, how does she do more than us? And obviously like that was obviously intimidating to the people that are working there, but it was just like, for me, I know how to cook already, but now it's about learning techniques, it's about learning certain things. And yeah, that's it really. That's me summarize the whole situation and stuff. Like I kind of went around, but yeah, that's how I kind of got into cooking. And then obviously what you guys have seen now is me cooking for the gram. But like I said, we're probably going to get into this maybe a bit later, but like how you guys probably, or how you may have seen me on the gram was probably from like McDonald's, what did I do, like a McMuffin? But like when I tell you, that was so confusing to me, because out of everything I've done, I felt like that was so minor. It took me like 10 minutes to do that. It wasn't a big deal, and it just shows you that everyone just likes different things. So yeah.
So where did, like, because obviously your story is so, like, you've done a lot of things, but it's like, where did you at what point did you like really become passionate about like food and cooking? Is that something that's always been part of your life, or is it just like after you did
we joke about it a lot in my family, because they're like, out of everyone in the house, they're like, they go, your whole passion has always been about food from really young. So like when I was really young, like for me it's always like, I used to love cooking shows and I still do, by the way, but I've always loved cooking shows. I've always loved like just being around food. Food has always excited me, basically. So I used to always say, like, when food would come that was different and nice, I would literally breathing heavily over it, or just like being so excited. But that's just me, because I just love food so much that I'm just really passionate about food itself. And then obviously, like, I think with time I started getting passionate about actually cooking and actually learning how to do different things and stuff. So I'd say it's just something I've always been passionate about. But like a lot of times you can be passionate about something but not know that it's really a passion. You just think, oh, I do food. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's the reason why it wasn't something that I actually looked into before. Like before, if someone else was gonna be a chef, I would have been like, what? Like, nah, like randomly. But yeah.
And also, obviously, now, right now, is it just, are you full-time? Is being a chef your full-time job now?
Yeah, it's been my full-time job for, like I said, maybe like a year now.
Yeah, and in terms of, because in your bio it says job, it's a private chef. So do you go and do cooking for like get clients and
stuff? So
like
I said, I left that apart. So in the last 6 months, I started, like I said, when I started building my portfolio in terms of what I've done after the supper clubs, etc., I started getting a lot of messages and stuff to cook for people privately. So these are like intimate dinners, or cooking for high profile people, just like because they want to have a dinner at their house, or maybe on a regular basis, like once a month, they want you to always come to their house and cook for them, basically. So that's considered as a private chef, because it's not you're not there all the time, so you can just, I'm kind of freelancing basically in different,
Of course,
That is sick. Is
Yeah,
there
that's
any high clients? You touched on it, and like obviously a lot of people, because a lot of people now know you from different, well, definitely from the gram, and it's crazy because like during this lockdown, like everyone's kind of been forced to kind of do more in the kitchen, and we just have the luxury of like being able to like cook. And for a lot of people, it's been like a shit show, like it's been a hard time. But it seems like for you, this pandemic has almost been a blessing. And
it's been.
Or it'll be good just to hear it'll be good to hear your perspective, because like it's very easy for people to look at you and be like, oh, that's like overnight you've blown. Whereas just talking to you now, you can easily say like, I've been grinding
for years, basically.
So like
for years,
literally, just to talk about like how the pandemic, like how you've managed to like blow your following. I know you tweeted the other day that your following's gone up like almost 9,000 in 20 something days. Like it'd be good to talk about like how the pandemic has kind of created an opportunity for you to kind of showcase your love of food. Or
was it from the McDonald's thing? Because I know that was the first thing.
Actually from the McDonald's, I kind of was able to track my I could say like how much I was going up by and stuff. So from the McDonald's itself, I would say like I probably had like 3,000 followers from that. And then obviously what I had started doing from McDonald's was like literally I posted every single day, and I started posting only like restaurant copy, because I realized that people are just missing going out and eating out and having their favorite foods and stuff. I said, okay, cool, this is something that clearly no one's doing yet, let me do that. And I started just posting. I did like Nando's, I did like Wagamama, I did Basaba, I did loads of things basically. And I'm still doing that at the moment, but it's like just because I felt like these are things that people are really missing, and it's actually interesting and fun to actually recreate these dishes and stuff. So I would say McDonald's helped the first boost, like maybe the first 3,000, but then afterwards as well, I was getting just a lot of just followers just from each post basically. So each post I'll get like more followers and stuff. And then of course like you get people also retweeting you and stuff like that. Do you get what I mean? And then basically just follow you from there, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how I came across you, because obviously I saw the McDonald's thing, but I didn't take it in too much. And then I saw and then someone I don't even follow, just randomly tweeted like loads of pictures from your Instagram, and was talking about how like good your Instagram page is. Someone I followed. That's when I was like, let me go and follow her. And then I was just like tagging everyone in. I was like, I need to make this Vapiano. It's like
I saw that. I mean, for me it's been such a blessing, because like it's just crazy. I don't know, like, you know, I haven't actually had a chance to really actually deep how big of a deal it is and how nice it is that people actually get to be a part of the journey. Because for me, more than anything, it's like this is my passion, and I'm so passionate about just pushing my food out there and for people to actually see what I do. And also it's nice when I see people recreating the dishes as well, so you actually feel like, you know, we're doing this together. So it's been really nice for that reason. I don't think, well, one thing I did say, actually, I did say this on my Instagram as well, was that firstly, the pandemic has been hard. It's been a hard time. It's not been easy. And the reason why it hasn't been easy for me personally is that I get really anxious about such times. Like, so for me, kind of always going online and always seeing like people's parents are dying, or seeing all these things around us. And even like my parents, like they lost literally like 3 people that they know.
Sorry to hear that.
So, thank you. But like, so behind the scenes, like there's actually been things where it's like, it's actually scary basically. Like, it's not just like all fun and games and stuff. So for me personally, like this food thing has actually helped me to be like not to just be in it so much, if that makes sense. Like to not, because before I was actually buried in the news. Like I was taking it far. Like I was listening, first thing I do, wake up, LBC, what are they saying? Go on the news, go on here and go on there, like just see what everyone's saying. And it was just because I wanted to really know what's happening and really track it and everything. I'm not saying it's not good to be aware of what's going on, which it is. Oh, so sorry. So I'm not saying that it's not good to be aware, but like when it's too much, I felt like it was just really affecting me. So the cooking thing really did actually help me a lot to just take my mind away from that. And And of course, like getting the followers, what makes you take your mind away from that is that people will be DMing you so much about the food that you're doing and stuff like that. So it does get you busy and stuff. So I would say it's a blessing for two reasons. One, that yes, I was able to grow my platform, but two, also it actually really helped me on a mental health level as well. Like not to actually just be in this situation like on a crazy level, basically. Like, so yeah.
It's interesting you said that, because I was doing because I just find it fascinating, like how you could tell where people's mindset was during the pandemic based on what was being shopped the most in supermarkets. Like at one point, at the start, you couldn't find toilet roll to save your life. And
I know, that was so random.
hand wash, toilet roll. And then it was like, oh shit, we need to eat. Then pasta went. And now it's like, if you can find flour and all those baking essentials, like you're on a gold mine. And it's interesting.
Literally every week has been something, basically.
it's been crazy. And Tesco like recently done a study, and like some interesting stats came out. One of them was that like 34% of people feel relaxed when cooking, and a quarter, 21% even find it therapeutic. And it's interesting because obviously you have a passion for food, but that's probably something that not everyone would even appreciate, the fact that not only like you're making this amazing food, but it's also some type of like therapy for you, and I guess for other people as well. What do you kind of make of the increase? Like everyone now is cooking, everyone is doing something at home. Like how does that make you feel, being that you're such a massive foodie?
I mean, I love it, firstly, and also I feel like one, we don't have a choice, like because most places have closed down, so I wouldn't really personally trust a lot of places that are open, that because I feel like they're just doing it because of survival of their business. So no, like not to kind of shun them down or whatever, but like in terms of, are you really thinking about the health impact, or are you thinking about the business just being able to continue functioning, kind of thing? Those are things that we need to think about as well, and that's the reason why a lot of people have been forced to cook and stuff. I love it. I just feel like it gets everyone's creative juices flowing, because even when I hate cooking, basically you're just thinking, okay, what am I going to make? And having the platform where you can actually kind of teach people and go along with them as well, like when they're cooking, or start messaging me and showing me, okay, what step was this, and I just send them the videos that I've done and stuff. I think it's been good. I just think I kind of forgot the question. Sorry, I forgot what you said.
Say whatever you want.
No. I just think it's been good that everyone's been cooking, but I just think a lot of people as well just enjoy watching it as well. Like I love watching mukbangs, for example. I love watching people eat. It's so random, but it's like
I've never understood that.
I love a mukbang. I love it. That's what I'm telling you. I love every single part of food, because even watching people eat, I love it. So it's crazy, but yeah. So like even cooking, I feel like people can come to my channel. I don't think on my page, I don't think a lot of them actually are going to cook the food. Sometimes it's just nice to watch. Like just watching someone make the food, it's like, oh, that's nice. Okay, cool. And then you move on to the day, kind of thing. So yeah.
I've cooked at least 2 of your meals and they bang. So thank you for that.
What meals did you cook? I know the Wagamama.
I saw the Wagamama, yeah.
Yeah. I made the Wagamama firecracker, and I done the beef, Szechuan beef.
Szechuan beef, yeah.
Yeah, I did that. That one was probably my favorite one, actually.
Oh, is it?
That one bang so far.
Yeah, that was good. I love that as well.
There's so much more that I need to make, and because of you, like my spice cupboard is like doubled in size. I've had to get
everyone's literally, and I always talk, and a lot of people have been asking about where do I get my ingredients. That has been the main question, to like, how can you have every single thing in your house? So where do you get all your ingredients? And it's funny because one, I was a bit of a panic buyer, to be honest, yeah, but I wouldn't really say panic buy like on a crazy thing, but like when it came to the meat shop, I was like, you know what if the butchers can't open again? That was deep for me. So I literally went to the butchers, and my freezer, I'm African, yeah, we got 2 freezers. So
the big chest of drawers freezer, and then you got the double one.
The double one, yeah, of course. Right. So you need the big one. That got filled with meat. Like I still got meat from when I bought it, like in literally 3-4 weeks ago. So I spent so much money on that, like buying lots of meat, and then afterwards, when my fishmongers is still open, so my local fishmongers, they're still open. I didn't need to like really freeze a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But like my family know that I love food and stuff, and they know I cook a lot for my pay. Not everyone, but one of my uncles, he works near Billingsgate Market. So whenever he sees, like, he went there one time. He's like, "Oh, do you need anything? Actually, I'm coming there before like the whole situation like starts and stuff, and they closed it." He literally bought me like the king prawns.
Oh wow!
Some lobster. Yeah. So
that's the thing about you foodies. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, like just grab this from your cupboard," and you bring out some lobster and king. I'm like, "Where are you getting lobster and king prawns and all these?"
I literally had that frozen. I was like, guys, it's been in my freezer, and Yeah, but then like for example, when I made sushi yesterday, because it needs to be fresh fish. I've literally got a Japanese store like down my road, like it's literally a Japanese store. In terms of spices, I mean, I've got 2 cupboards full of spices, so that just shows you that naturally I always have
Yeah,
spices.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, that's been my issue, I think. Like, I wanted to make the Nando's, and then I was showing my husband, and I was like, look at this lady on Instagram. Like, she makes all this good food, but she makes it all from scratch. And I'm like, yeah.
Do I even have?
Do I even have half of this stuff? Can I even get into the supermarket right now? But no, I'm definitely I want to make that Nando's for sure.
I mean, I always try to like say there's always things that you can substitute, and I always say that to people as well. Like, I'm just trying to make it as authentic as possible. Like, for example, when I made the Vapiano's pasta, but I was like, I made my own pasta, I made my own pesto, but these are things that you can actually buy. You can buy pesto made, you can buy pasta made. But like, some people just like having homemade everything. So I was like, you know what? Why not give that option as well? But if you can't do that, go ahead and buy the pesto. I'm sure you can get really good. Well, not I'm sure you can get good brands that do nice things.
You know how you touched on obviously the McDonald's thing, and what I found really interesting is because I looked at your page because I followed you, I think just before like, you blew up mad, and like I was seeing the stuff, and obviously your levels above a lot of other people, and it shows that you're a private chef. But it's interesting to see that once you saw the traction was on recreating our favorite restaurants' meals, like you've doubled down, you kept on doing like. What has that been like? Because I can imagine these restaurants have also started to take notice of what you're doing. What's the kind of
it's funny
been from them?
That's a big one. That's a really good question actually, because from the first time I did McDonald's, that was kind of a thing, because as soon as I did McDonald's, it went viral. We can say viral, and the video up on Instagram, and I think it was like the next day, McDonald's posted their recipe for the McMuffin.
Yeah.
But prior to them posting the recipe for McMuffin, they had commented obviously under the picture the video that I did, and someone had kind of reached out to me, like asked, like from their team, whatever, asking me whatever questions. So it was something that I did kind of go back to them and was like, do I not get like a mention or anything like that? But then obviously it ended up being a thing where they were just like, this was already done. I mean, this was already planned beforehand, but obviously we can't we can't basically say is that true or false, but you guys already know like how a lot of these situations kind of work out. But for me, like I said, I wasn't really caught up on it, because I thought to myself, you know what, I can get caught up on this, or I can just continue going. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's what I just continue doing, because I feel like if I had been caught up on that, I would have still been talking about McDonald's till today. Do you get what I mean? By the gas of McDonald's, sure. I would have been like, oh my god, I've got 3,000 followers from McDonald's, and it would have literally stayed at 3,000, because I'm gassed on the 3,000. And when I was like, no, this is actually sick, because I was like, there's so many things I do want to recreate. Actually, let me use this opportunity to do that. So yeah, that's what I did. I ended up just doing other things.
Very simple question related to that, because you said that you saw no one else was doing that. For other people who are like, they're doing something, but they're trying to find a niche, like how did it come about to you that you realized no one else was doing that? Was it something that you just noticed, or was you like actively researching, oh, what can I do? Like, how did that process come about for you?
I mean, when I say no one was doing that particularly at the time, I mean, it wasn't something like where you'll go on. Okay, put it this way, there's pages where they're kind of focused on doing recreations as well. There are pages like that, but I wouldn't really say in the UK per se. A lot of Americans do that a lot. Like you'll see, like for example, when the Popeyes went viral, there's someone that there's a TikTok guy that I really, really love, because he literally does like recreations of like the burgers of like Popeyes and this and that, whatever. There are people that do it across the world, but I feel like here, one, there wasn't that no one here that I know that does that here. And also I felt like as soon as the fact that people gave so much attention to like literally a Big Mac, not Big Mac, McMuffin, it shows that it's something that's needed. Because when I tell you McMuffin, out of everything, was the most simplest thing I've done, basically. Literally. So it just shows that people are like, oh, they take interest in that. And it's kind of like, you have to kind of listen to what your market is really, what your followers want as well. Because it's all nice, well and good for me to do something, but like if my followers are kind of bored of it now, you kind of have to find ways that if you're interested in it as well, you do that. And it doesn't mean just because someone else is doing that, you should do it because it's going to work for you. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know how to really explain it, but I just felt like
what you touched on was great, because
like
what you mentioned about listening to your audience, because it could have been very easy for you to be like, look, I'm a private chef, look at me making some crazy 7-star meal, and it's like, okay, that's great, but I want to be able to cook with you, and I can't do that. So
Yeah.
interesting.
But I mean, I still actually I didn't want to not show that. So one thing I have done is I tried to show that I am versatile on my page. So I don't just make like McDonald's. I've made you know, other dishes as well. Like I made the stuff from the Ivy. I made I think it was Novikov. I made something from Novikov as well. I've really tried to vary it in terms of like, so it's not just fast food, because that's not really my interest 100%. My interest is really varied. So when you go on my page, you'll see it as well. You'll see me make sushi sometimes, you'll see me make fried chicken, you'll see me make, you know, Wagamama, or just different things. And I think that's what interests people as well. So that was also me listening to the crowd, because it's like, I could have just stuck to just doing stuff like McDonald's, KFC, Sam's chicken burger, or whatever. But like, I didn't think that's what people want from my page, because they can actually see that this is someone who's skilled and knows what they're doing. Why not give us variety? So yeah.
I
But the
just
techniques I've shown on my page are deep.
yeah, I think you've capitalized off the fact that people obviously used to going out to eat, can't go out to eat, so they want to make their favorite foods at home, or they just want to see them being made, or know that it's possible for it to be made. And like you said, like, not everyone's going to make a dish, but some people just want to kind of see it being done, or they enjoy watching it. But some people will make it. But I just think it's the whole thing about, you know, missing that going out element, but still being able to recreate it at home, which I think you've capitalized on as well. And yeah, still showing your versatility, which again will obviously, when you have to adjust again after the pandemic, you know, it will work in your favor, I think.
100%.
What would you say? Obviously, a lot of people are like, great, following Joyce, I want to recreate some meals. But when it comes to food shopping, I'm hopeless. Like, what would you say, like, some top tips for people to like buy better in the limited time that they have to go to the supermarket and like get stuff? Like, are there like staple ingredients that you think, okay, you need to have this on deck at all times to kind of whip up some good meals?
Well, staple ingredients, I think it just depends on the kind of food you like. That's the first thing. But one thing I always do say to people is like, you have to actually plan. Like, a lot of times people go shopping, but they don't actually have a real plan before they go into the shops. And that's why they always feel like it's hopeless when they get there.
Drag me
so you'll get in there and you're just like, oh, I'm walking around Tesco, oh, I don't know what to get, I'm a bit lost. And it's like, of course you don't know what to get, because you haven't actually planned. You don't really have a plan, basically. And having a plan will really help you in the stores. I'm not like someone who's always rigid with my plans per se, but like, I always have a rough outline anyway. Right now I am quite rigid just because it's hard to get stuff. So when I do get a chance to go to the shop, which is never more than once a week, just because I'm not trying to expose myself outside like that. But when I am in the shop, I'm like, okay, cool, I've got this list, this is what I'm doing. But on a general thing, when there's no pandemic, when we can be free, whatever, I do like to kind of be open. But like, even in my openness, I know what I like. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Or I know what I'm trying to explore. So I can say in the last couple of months, like, I've loved Asian food. I love like Pan Asian, that kind of stuff. Like, it's really my thing. So I always go in the Asian aisle, or always go to like Japanese stores or stuff like that, and want to try their different seasonings or try this. That's the reason why I said I've got so many seasonings and stuff, because it's been months now that I've been trying this kind of stuff anyway. But it's always knowing exactly what you want before you go into the shop. Kind of have an outline to say, okay, cool, I eat a lot of rice. Because for some people, like, their diet is basically rice and lots of tomato based. Like, when you look at a lot of African families and stuff, their staple would be rice, tomatoes, like tin tomato, like plum or chopped tomato, onions, peppers, chilies, stuff like that. And that's a staple for them. But like, if you go into another, like, say for example, in a Caribbean household, like, a canned tomato wouldn't necessarily be a staple in terms of their shopping. Like, obviously they do use tomatoes, but like, nowhere near to the same level as a West African, for example. Or I don't know, if you go to an Asian household, like noodles, maybe, for example, maybe a staple, whereas that's not a staple for someone else. So yeah, it just depends on what you like. Or potatoes for Irish people, or whatever. It's just not even about where you're from, but it's just about what you like, basically. Like, so
work around that. No, it makes
yeah.
Only gone and done rookie podcasting mistake 101.
Didn't press record.
So yeah, it's very peak. Towards the end of that conversation, we had Joyce obviously finish up what she was saying. But due to technical difficulties, we're not able to hear that. But Bonita, let's just recap on some of the points that she landed with before we were disconnected.
Yeah, it's a shame we were disconnected early, because the end of that conversation was really lovely. I think the whole thing around, you know, we was talking about how someone might become a private chef if they're into food and food is their passion. And I think, you know, her response was kind of like she didn't kind of go the conventional route, and if she could go back, it would be definitely something she would study. But you know, there's online courses, the short courses that you can do to kind of get into it. So if you're ever thinking about becoming a private chef, or food is something you're definitely passionate about, then you know, definitely kind of look into what online resources there are during this pandemic, especially is now to kind of capitalize off of it. And I think what we also spoke about, kind of how other people, even in different industries, might want to build their Instagram profiles. You know, she's gained a mass of followers in a very short space of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, again, her advice is do what works for you, which I think seems basic, but I think it's so important. Like, you might see what's working for Joyce and you might think you should be doing the same, but actually you need to really be thinking about what your audience wants to see from you. And I think that was key advice from her.
100. And we asked her what to expect from her, because obviously so much has been happening, and she's got some exciting stuff, some that she can't talk about, but she calls herself the Spice Queen. Like, she's really big on spices and sauces, and that's something that she's going to really focus on. And she can't wait to get her supper clubs back live, and they're gonna you know, remain to be quite intimate, small scale, very private supper clubs. So make sure you guys check out the local supper clubs to find out more about that. And she's in a really good space. And what's really good is, like, she just touched on the fact that she's not gonna sit here and give like Instagram tips 101, because she doesn't know. But what she does know is, you know, she's tried stuff, like you said, it's worked for her and it hasn't worked for other people. So just continue to do what you're good at. And what I think is also super important, is just the fact that although it could seem like she's been an overnight success, what's actually happened is she's been putting out her work, like food, for years, for months. So, like, she already had the kind of catalog, so that when people discover her, she's got stuff to go. So it was really good. So we appreciate having her on. It was her first podcast as well, so that was good to have her on and just share her tips. So can't wait to kind of see the feedback from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So normally we either do flowers or pick of the week. Bonita, do you have a pick of the week for this week?
Yes, so my pick of the week is it's actually a TV show that obviously everyone needs something to watch now after binge watching Netflix. But if you have Sky or Now TV, Gangs of London is...
I've heard about Gangs of London.
New series. Is very violent, I will not lie. It's a hard watch. But me personally, I'm such
I can imagine.
Soft dude, but it's really good. I would definitely recommend it if you need something new to watch.
It's interesting that I've seen a lot of critical acclaim around it. Straight away, I knew that it couldn't have been a black person behind it, because anything to do with gangs in London would not be getting such a positive response if it was a black guy behind it. So, but I've heard it's really good.
No, it is really good. It's violent, but it's one of those shows that will just have you hooked for so long.
Is it glorifying gang culture?
I wouldn't say it's glorifying it. It's not like, like before I started watching it, I asked someone, "Is it like Top Boy?" And then they're like, "No, it's not like Top Boy. It's like a lot of levels above Top Boy." in terms of like, when you think of gangs, you're thinking just street people.
This is like organized at the top.
Yeah. So it's interesting still.
Okay, my pick of the week is an app. Obviously, everyone at the moment is big on fitness and trying to keep fit and showing off all their Nike app, how far they're running. And people like me with zero stamina are just like, I need to do better. I got recommended this app. I'm sure many have heard of it, Couch to 5K.
Oh, yes, I use that.
Anyone like me who literally knows how to sit on the couch very well, but get up to 5K. It's really good. I've just completed my third run before the call. And
how far did you run?
I'll just double check now. Not too far, but Let me check.
But still, it's something, isn't it? For someone who doesn't run.
Yeah, I do. You don't understand. Like, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I'm just checking now. So how do I check? 3 runs. Whoops. Oh, it thinks I'm running. Let me cancel that. X and workout. 3 runs. It's actually increased. Today I done 3.98 kilometers. Didn't feel like that though.
Why are you acting like that's nearly 5K?
I know it didn't feel like that though.
Are you running all the way, or are you running, walking for a bit?
No, at the start, yeah, you do your intervals, so
Yeah.
you do the walk, so that's why it didn't feel that much. But yeah,
That's it.
even the calories have increased. That's pretty cool.
You'll be running 5K in no time.
I hope so. But yeah, anyway, I recommend this app. It's quite motivational, and it's cool. It's a good app. So I actually it's because you get like a week free, and then you have to start paying for it. So I'm paying for it. So that definitely shows. It's one of the last app that I paid for was a dating app. So if I could swear, this was years ago. This is Hinge. How I met my girlfriend.
Hinge, you have to pay for Hinge.
You don't have to, but I had that premium. Listen, I had.
Oh, premium version.
I believe in investing in your love life. If you can, you know what I mean. I feel like you should invest in yourself, and I wanted to invest to get anyway. That's another.
It works. So
it works. But yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. We've actually recorded this one. Let us know your thoughts. Go back, listen to our previous episodes. Drop a review on Apple Podcasts and just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Till next time, peace.